Hi Booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. I know it's Monday and we typically do tags on Tuesday, but then there's a lot of tags on Tuesday, so I'm gonna mix it up and I'm slowly trying to catch up with tags. This is the Reluctant TBR tag. There's, I think there's the anti-TBR tag, the intimidating TBR tag, but this is the reluctant one. So there are things you want to read, but like for some reason you're struggling to pick them up. And this tag was created by Chloe Frizzle. I was tagged by, I believe it's Katrina at Miss Peepers-Reading-Corner and Jackie Reads and Writes. So I will link to all of those channels down below as well as their videos. So what is a book you want to read, but question number 1, it was a soft DNF, so you were unable to finish it the first time and want to try again. You know, I don't really DNF books, and sometimes I realized later that I should have just given it up, but I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that's been a soft DNF where I've started it, I know I'm going to come back to it, but I just put it down. So my apologies there. Let's see, question 2. You've read another book by that author and didn't enjoy it. So this was on my high priority TBR for the year. This is Dreamers of the Day by Mary Doria Russell. And I don't know where our copy has gone to, but she is the author of The Sparrow, which I affectionately refer to as Jesuits in Space. I can't find it on our shelf. I'm not sure where it is, so that's a little bit interesting. Anyway, because I don't think we would have gotten rid of it. Anyway, but Jason got me Dreamers of the Day. It looks like such a great summer book, doesn't it? Pyramids, Egypt. Yeah, so I mean, I want to read this book. I will read this book, but maybe next year. I think it is on my the TBR that I've started for 2025 on Goodreads, and you can find all the information about my Goodreads channel down below, as long as some other places to connect with me. Okay, question 3. It's brand new, and you don't know when you'll get around to it. So this is not brand new. It came out in July though, so for me that's pretty new. And that's Katie Lemson's book, The Trouble with Mrs. Montgomery Hearst. And I want to read this book so bad. So I think it's just a time issue. It came out in mid-July. August I was spending a lot of time, and September spending a lot of time with Shakespeare. And so I am hoping that before the year is up, I will have a review video for you of this book. Question 4. The cover is painfully ugly. This is what I'm reading right now. Does it get any uglier than this? This is The Mystery of the Yellow Room by Gaston Leroux. Let me see when this was published. This was published in 1977. Certainly looks like it, right? It's got the crazy colors there. But anyway, I still haven't heard from if anyone would like my copy of this. Otherwise, I'm going to put it in a little free library somewhere when I am done with it. I don't think Jason wants to read it, so yeah, so the cover being painfully ugly is not something that's likely to throw me off or make me not want to read something. We have I should have grabbed our copy of Jane Eyre, which has a terrible cover on it, but of course I love Jane Eyre. That's a great book. Question 5. It's a classic book that might be good for you, but you're not that interested. I don't know about the second part of this. I am really interested in reading this book, but I'm just scared. So this is one of my bucket list books, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. It's just so big. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but I really do want to read this book. I just haven't taken the plunge. So one year, this will be what I start with. I will start the year off with The Count of Monte Cristo and see how long it takes me, how many months it takes me to read it. So I am interested in reading that book. Question 6. It's humongous and intimidating. So I almost did The Count of Monte Cristo for both of these prompts, but I also grabbed Forever Amber by Kathleen Winsor. And I've heard just so many different things about this. I know at least one of you out there has done a review of this book. And again, it's just one of those things where it's just hard to pick up because it's so big. But yeah, so this is, abandoned, pregnant, and penniless on the teeming streets of London, 16-year-old Amber St. Clair uses her wits, beauty, and courage to climb to the highest position a woman could achieve in restoration, England. I want to read it. It's been banned before. See, it was published in 1944. Anyway, so I mean, yeah, it's a book that's hung around, and I want to read it, but I just okay. Let's see. Question 7. You feel like you need to read it because it's hyped, but you're not excited. So hyped books, I tend to avoid them. I want the hype to die down before I read it. Because if I read it when it's really hyped and it doesn't like meet my expectations, I'm not, books that are like too hyped, everyone is talking about it in that moment, like, I'm just not, I'm like, I'll wait a while. I'll give it some breathing room, right? Let's see. Question number 8. You need to be in a specific mood to enjoy. So I don't have a specific book, but I did think of Shakespeare. And I grabbed The Winter's Tale, which is one of the late romances. And, I think, like Shakespeare, I was talking to, I think it was Joe Smith last year. We're just talking about how reading Shakespeare, it's almost like you develop, it's a different muscle in your body, and you learn to develop it if you keep reading and keep trying and that sort of thing. And I'm just not as consistent as I would like to be with Shakespeare. But that's why I'm so glad that we have Shake-Timber. So I always have a reason to read Shakespeare every year. I do think Shakespeare is something you kind of like, okay, I'm gonna read some Shakespeare now. You need to give all your attention to the text. So question number 9, you're on the fence about continuing the series. Okay, so I own 5 books in this series. I've read 2 of them. The next one is Murder in the Sentier. This is a series by Cara Black. The Amy LeDuc investigations. I really like the idea of, a female protagonist who's, she's really specializes in kind of computer hacking sort of crimes or whatever, but she always gets sucked into these murders, and they take place in a different neighborhood in Paris. Really, I feel like these books should be perfect for me, right? It's Paris, it's a different neighborhood each time. Like she has a partner that she works with to solve the crimes, and I read the first 2 and I'm like, oh, just a little bit more. Like, I just want more kind of character development and getting to know her as a protagonist and getting to know some of these other regular characters in there. So, like I said, but the series is also huge. I want to say like 16 books or something. Just, it's crazy. There's no way that I don't think I will stick with it that long, but I do feel like I should read the 5 that I have, and I didn't buy all of them. My mother really enjoys those books, and so yeah, so that's where I got some of them. One of them she bought from Shakespeare and Company when we were in Paris together, so definitely will hold on to that book. Okay, question number 10. It's been on your TBR for a very long time. So I actually got on my personal Goodreads account, which I don't do very much with. So it's much better to follow me on the account that's listed below, but I looked to see what book I own that has been on my TBR the longest. So Call It Sleep by Henry Roth. And I first found out about this book in a documentary, The Stones of Summer. Well, it's about the Stones of Summer. What is it called? Stone Reader. Stone Reader is the name of the documentary. But anyway, so this book was one of those books that, it came out, was published, did okay. And then a little while later, another critic picks it up, reads it, and it sort of has a rebirth, if you will. And anyway, ever since I saw that documentary, which was so long ago, I've wanted to read it. And yeah, so I know one of you mentioned reading it with me. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull it off this year, but I do want to read this book. So many books, so little time. Okay. Question number 11. It's a genre outside your comfort zone. So science fiction, some kinds of fantasy are a little bit outside my comfort zone. So I grabbed a couple things. This one book we've owned for a long time, Jason and I have owned for a long time, and that's Ursula K. Le Guin's Left Hand of Darkness. And I read a collection of her short stories earlier this year, which was great. Really, gave me a lot of confidence in terms of returning back to her. And then Jason bought me the Earthsea quartet, I guess. This is 4 books in one, and I feel like this is maybe more fantasy than science fiction, but I do hope that maybe next year I can get to these, space them out a little bit. I'm not sure. Question 12. Despite owning it, you'll likely never read it. And this can include unhauled books, library books, that sort of thing. I grabbed a book. I think Jason bought this for me. And yeah, I mean, it should be a book that is great. But for some reason, I don't think I'm quite as serious about this area than I thought I was. And so I have not read it. This is Super Gods, What Masked Vigilantes, Miraculous Mutants, and a Sun God from Smallville Can Teach Us About Being Human. This is by Grant Morrison. If any of you have read this, I'd really be curious to hear what you think. But yeah, it's kind of one of those books, I open it up and it feels more like a textbook, or for people who are really hardcore about comic books and that sort of thing, which I am not. I do like superhero movies quite a bit, but yeah, so that one was just really tricky. And then these next 3 questions, I'm completely at a loss. Question 13, it's only out of obligation to a book club, a friend's recommendation. I mean, there's tons of books that have been recommended to me on Booktube. I want to get to them. Most of them are on this library cart that's right next to me. I know you can't see it, but yeah, there's just a lot of books that I really want to read. And some of them have been recommendations from all of you, but I mean, I didn't pick out like a single one. Question 14, negative reviews have made you less excited. You know, I mean, I guess if I kept hearing on Booktube over and over again yeah, like people hated a certain book or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that would make me rethink it, but I'm not really up to date with, you know, published book reviews, that sort of thing. So I couldn't think of a good one for that one. And then question 15, it hasn't come out yet. And as you know, I'm much more of a backlist kind of reader. And you can tell that from this collection here of books. But yeah, so I hardly ever buy brand new. I mean, that's why like owning that Judi Dench book, Shakespeare, The Man Who Pays the Rent, it just came out this year. It's just so unusual for me to buy a book like that. The only thing I can think of is maybe if something wins the Pulitzer and I, for whatever, you know, I'm 22 people behind at the library, I might buy it, but I'm not really that aware. I don't pay that much attention to books that haven't come out haven't come out yet. Katie's book, Mrs. Montgomery Hearst, I did pre-order this because I really wanted to support Katie, but I can't tell you the last time before this one that I pre-ordered a book. So, okay. Tag 5 people. So I'm trying, because I'm doing a lot of tags, so I'm going to try to tag some people that I haven't tagged recently. So I'm going to tag Kim at Middle of the Book March, David Novak reads poetry, Monty Adkins books, Albert the Conjugator, and Grape Jelly Library. So if you haven't checked out those channels, make sure that you do. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love to hear what your answers to these questions are down in the comments section, especially if you don't have a channel of your own. If you do have a channel and you want to do this tag, by all means, please consider yourself tagged. But again, love to hear your thoughts about books that you want to read, but you're a little bit reluctant for whatever reason it might be. So tell me about that down below in the comment section. As always, if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, you can leave an emoji or give this video a thumbs up, which really does help my channel. Booktube, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.